Welcome to the W2W review. I am the Oakland Knight, and I'm here to join you today to talk a few topics about certain things that are going on. One is an old topic. Well, actually, they're both an old topic, but I thought it would be a good time to kind of get into more depth of what's going on. The first topic we're going to talk about is Aldon Smith. There's been a lot of talk about Aldon Smith, and lately it was reported coming out of Reggie's mouth that they're not ready to give up on Reggie McKenzie yet. And I thought that was kind of a key thing of what I was talking about earlier with Aldon Smith when I said, I made the quote and I requote, Aldon Smith has not hurt us at this point. When we signed him last season, Aldon Smith had came on, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think he gave us the kind of impact that we were kind of hoping for. Now, I will say that he came in late. He came in right before the first game of the season, so it's not like he had OTAs and training camp, and he was kind of learning the system on the fly. But they started him and they played him because, he's such a great talent. He's such a great pass rusher. He's good against the pass when he's dropping back in the flats too. So he was an asset. But it just seemed like the whole defense was struggling too. So I don't want to put it on Aldon Smith. So I'm not saying Aldon Smith was the problem. I'm just saying the defense didn't have a lot of the right pieces. And like me and Pirate talk about a lot when it comes to this defense, the real struggle happens on the middle of the field. So in the middle of the defensive line. So we weren't getting enough penetration through the middle to push the quarterback outside of the pocket. The quarterback was able to step up into the pocket, which was getting away from Aldon Smith and Khalil Mack. Now, once he got suspended, at that point, we were already out of the playoff hunt. So essentially, Aldon Smith did not hurt us in that sense. In fact, it was kind of a blessing in disguise because once we lost Aldon Smith as well as Justin Tuck, we found ourselves in a situation where we had to bring in some of these younger players and kind of shift the line around a little bit. So we got, Shelby Harris involved very limitedly, but the big standout guy was Mario Edwards Jr. And before Mario Edwards Jr. got hurt, Khalil Mack went on a sack fest. So what Mario Edwards Jr. brought to the table, when we slid Mario Edwards Jr. into the inside, Jr. was allowing himself to get the penetration in the middle needed to get the quarterback to not be able to step up into the pocket and create any type of escape routes from our defensive end. So guys like Autry, even Malcolm Smith, when he blitzed, he was able to get to the quarterback a lot more efficiently, especially when he came on the exact side where the quarterback needed to roll out to. And usually it was away from Khalil Mack. We know that. So that's what I mean personally when I say that Aldon Smith has not hurt this team. Now, even this season, he's in rehab. The question mark looms, because he's in rehab now. I don't know how long he's going to be in there, but is that going to dictate what Roger Goodell does about his reinstatement? So I think what the Raiders are doing is playing their card close to their chest and basically saying, hey, this guy needs help. Eddie DeBarlo just gave a really, really big speech on how owners and GMs and teams and franchises, the NFL, should really stick by these players, not just when they're on the field. So I think Mark Davis and Reggie McKenzie, Jack Del Rio, everybody in the Oakland Raiders organization is kind of doing a good justice, even though there's a lot of us maybe that feel that he doesn't deserve it. But it's not like this guy is out there beating women or anything like that. I mean, he's got a substance abuse problem, whether it's weed or alcohol or whatever he's getting into. He also obviously has an addictive personality, and he just needs help. He needs that support group. And I think what the league needs to realize is when it comes to some of these guys, and especially when you look at our team and Aldon Smith, when Aldon Smith was on the field and was able to be a part of this football team, and he was around Justin Tuck on a daily basis and guys like Derek Carr and Khalil Mack, who are very stand-up guys. If that's one thing we could say about this team, is those two men are really holding it down spiritually, mentally, all that good stuff. So generally speaking, if Aldon Smith can get back to where he's in football and he's around these great character guys that we have on this football team, that actually would help him. And a lot of the times, yes, I do believe that players should be punished for their acts. There's rules. The rules were made not to be broken, even though that's a popular saying. I think that him being a part of football and being around these great character guys helps him. Right now he's in a position where he can't even be around the team. He's literally suspended from football. And I think that's hurting him in the long run. And once again, Reggie McKenzie, Jack Del Rio, really kind of standing by his side, letting this thing play out. If Roger Goodell comes down and decides to suspend him for another year, then yeah, Aldon Smith becomes dead weight. It gets to the point where it's like, okay, you're suspended for a whole nother year. We got this great young talented crew coming in, guys like Cowser and Calhoun and Jihad Ward. I mean, all these guys are going to make a difference. They're going to make an impact on this football team. And the longer that Aldon Smith is not a part of it, he loses his legs, if you will. And that's probably around the point where we could actually sit there and say, you know what, you're not hurting us. And I think that's the great position that we're in. The fans, other fan bases want to talk, especially the Niner fans, right? They want to say, oh, well, yeah, see, they're relishing in the fact that they got rid of Aldon Smith, and now that it's justified. To where if Aldon Smith would have came back and returned to form for us and stayed out of trouble, it would have been more egg on their face. So now they can kind of sit back and say, you know what, we didn't need Aldon Smith. He's trouble. But from our standpoint at this present time is we've never been in a situation where Aldon Smith hurts us. That's why it makes sense. Reggie once again made the contract favorable, so it's not actually hurting us. It's actually, it's not necessarily helping us, right? But it's not hurting us because he's not on the field. We knew going in when we gave him the contract, he wasn't going to be back until November. If he doesn't get to come back in November, it's not costing us any money, $0. And that's awesome moving forward. So it's just something that, okay, he just never was around. He was around a little bit last year. I think they were a little shocked that the suspension came down when it did. But once again, we were already out of playoff contention. So there's not much that we necessarily have to worry about moving forward. So when I look at it from that standpoint, Raider Nation, I don't think we need to necessarily worry about Aldon Smith. Aldon Smith is one of those pieces that is in our back pocket. And if the powers that be decide to let him back into the league and all the stars line up, this is a guy that's going to come in November and be able to give us such an impact with the guys that we already have that, we're in a very, very good situation as far as that. Like I said, Aldon Smith at this point cannot hurt us at all. And that is the focus here. So that doesn't take away from what he did. When you look at that Periscope video, it just shows the issues that he has. I mean, while he's periscoping, he's talking about not throwing himself under the bus. They don't know who I am. But at the same time, he's talking about who he is and that he's hiding. I mean, it just shows you where he's at mentally. He's not in a good place. He needs a support system. So regardless of what happens moving forward, whether he becomes a Raider, stays a Raider, or what have you, the league, friends of his in the league, and this is where Justin Tuck could really make a difference outside of football. Justin Tuck, I know he's got his own family, he's got his own things he's working with and things that he's dealing with, but this would be a great moment for him to actually step up to the plate, take Aldon Smith under his wing, and help the guy out. And I know for a fact that Derek Carr will, and I believe Khalil Mack will. And as soft-spoken as Amari Cooper is, Amari Cooper comes off as a very great, sensitive, kind of like a down-to-earth guy like Khalil Mack and Derek Carr. So these guys could help. The problem is all three of those guys that I mentioned, obviously they're busy getting ready for the season. But because of league rules, they're not allowed to reach out to him either because they're part of the team that he's under contract for. So there's nothing that those guys can do. But Justin Tuck, no longer under contract, retired football player, should be able to go and talk to Aldon Smith, mentor Aldon Smith. And I think that's what I'm looking for. And you know what? I don't want to sit out here and act like I'm blasting Justin Tuck and saying that this should be Justin Tuck's job or this should be Justin Tuck's responsibility. I just know that they have a relationship, so that's why his name comes to mind because, he's supposed to be close with him. And it's one of the reasons why he came to the Raiders, one of many. So that's what I'm hoping for. And whether he gets back on the field and puts on the silver and black or not, we'll have to wait and see. But, like I said, close this part of the conversation up. Aldon Smith is not hurting us. Aldon Smith is not putting us in a situation where we are hurting, as a team because of what he's doing off the field. He wasn't even part of the team, really. I mean, he couldn't be a part of the team until November. So I guess the message I want to send out there is, let's not worry about Aldon Smith. Let's just pray for Aldon Smith. Let's pray that he can actually, get his life together and make the right changes. And whether he plays for the Silver and Black, plays football ever again, just as a human being, gets his life together and starts doing the right thing. All right. So that's the talk I have for Aldon Smith today. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to get into the quarterback situation, because I want to get a little bit closer look about what's going on essentially with Matt McGloin and Connor Cook. I know it's still, I go on all these social media sites and still see all these reports, and everybody's talking about the Raiders and the quarterback situation. So when we get back from break, we'll get into that. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I've got one question for you. If you could have your goal right now, would you take it? Would you even be able to handle it? Think about it. Really envision, visualize, think it through. What is it that you want? Are you ready for it? Have you become the person worthy of it? Could you handle it? If you could have your goal right now, would you take it? See, that's a tough question. It should be easy. The answer should be yes, I'll take it right now. Give it to me. But that's the problem. It can't be given. You've got to go out there and take it like it's yours, like you own it. But are you ready for it? Have you worked for it? Have you put the time and the energy? Have you become a person that's qualified for it? Of course, it all starts in the mind, truly believing that you deserve it, truly believing that you are capable of having it. But it takes work. Have you put the work in? Every day are you working towards it? If you could have your goal right now, would you take it? How does the achievement of your goal affect you, affect your family, affect the ones around you? Would you take it? Could you handle it? Are you prepared for it? Are you prepared for all the change it's going to bring? Because when we want more out of life, we get more of everything. We get more money, we get more impact, more influence. We also get more problems, more criticisms, more conflict, more controversy. People doubting you, people telling you you're not ready, people saying that you're not the person to be doing this kind of work, people saying that you're not the real deal. There comes doubt with that. And of course, doubt within yourself and doubt from other people who are very close to you. Are you ready for that? Because it's coming. Have you built the relationships that can help you get through the storm? Do you have the systems in place, the personal, the business, the emotional systems in place to help you see yourself through the storm? Because most of the time when you're going after what you want, most people will not be able to relate to you because they're not doing that. Most people are going for what's right there in front of them. Most people are playing it safe. Most people aren't chasing anything down, but you are. You've decided to. You know that there's something more. You actually look forward to putting something in front of you because that keeps you driving forward. If you want something, nobody has the right to talk you out of it. If you want something, you go out and get it. My question is, Are you the person who's ready for it?
Hey there, I'm Jason Smith, also known as the Oakland Knight. We'd like to thank you for watching the Will to Win broadcast here on YouTube. And if you would like to stay up to date for more content like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. Or you could click any one of the videos on the side to watch more great videos. Thank you once again, and stay Raider strong. All right, welcome back to the W2W review. I'm the Oakland Knight. As you've seen, if I did not mention it at the beginning, I am running solo today. Pirate's busy working on some of the software issues and stuff we're having. He's getting it all put together so we could have a awesome live show coming up right after the Raiders play Arizona on Friday. So right after the game, go to the Will to Win on YouTube and we'll be there live taking your phone calls. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get into this quarterback situation because I find it to be extremely interesting. And I'm going to go ahead and take the opportunity once again just to address the whole quarterback situation. But there's obviously two players that we need to keep a focal point on, definitely a close eye on, and how they're developing. And I'll get into the reasons why. But let's go ahead and start off with our leader. There's still some little rumblings and still some concerns with Derek Carr. Even though all the reports from the national media state that Derek Carr is more comfortable this season, Derek Carr is handling his business. So Derek Carr, trust me guys, is going to, I guess the biggest question that's asked about Derek Carr is Derek Carr going to have a breakout season? For me, yeah, I think he is. And then where he's going to break out the most, guys, is in the win-loss column. If you look at his numbers last year with nearly 4,000 yards passing, only 12 interceptions to 32 touchdowns, I mean, that's breakout to me. The only thing that really held him back statistically was the win-loss situation. And yeah, there was some late game heroics that he left on the field. But, you know, those things will all work itself out as the chemistry and the consistency, along with Bill Musgrave's offense in the second year. So, I mean, he can come out and put up the same numbers as he did last year. And those were solid numbers, guys. Those are really good, solid numbers. So if he repeats what he did last season, and then you just add the numbers, you know, up in the win column, just mark those things right up, get us to about a 10-6, even 11-5 is projected by a lot of people, not just, you know, people here on YouTube or people out on Facebook or anything like that. I'm talking about national media. There's a lot of people that think that this is a 10-6 or 11-5 football team. So looking ahead to that, that's exciting. And that's where he needs to have the breakout season, is in that category. This guy has all the tools, guys. He has it upstairs. He's very intelligent. He's very patient. He's got a great arm. He's accurate. He tries to label himself as a gunslinger like Brett Favre. We talked about that in the Hall of Fame show Monday, after the after show, like the review. But I don't believe that he's necessarily that kind of gunslinger. And I think Brett Favre talked about that. He's a more controlled gunslinger. He likes to take chances. He believes in his receivers, and he's got a strong arm. But I just think there's a different aspect of the way he plays the game. But he also plays the game like Brett Favre with a lot of joy and a lot of passion. I could sit and watch Derek Carr play all day long. And like I said, you know, there's going to be a lot of haters out there still on Derek Carr, and that's okay. Let his play prove it. And the biggest knock on him is his fourth quarter play or second half play and his win-loss. You know, and that's not all on him. I mean, there is 11 other people on the field, but the quarterback gets all the praise when they win and all the negativity when they lose. So when you look at it from that standpoint, you know, this is what we're looking at. This is what we're dealing with. So to all the Carr haters, just be patient. You'll have to change your tone soon enough. But what I really want to get into today is the fact that, you know, whether you like it or not, Derek Carr is the starter and should be. But what about that second spot? Who's going to take the number 2? Well, I could sit here today and just really confidently tell you it's going to be Matt McGloin. And here's why. Matt McGloin has the experience not only for being in the league for 4 years, this is his 4th year, but he has the knowledge of the offense, and you just can't teach that. You know, what Derek Carr did his rookie year taking it over from Matt Schaub. It was a combination of a lot of things. The battle really became between him and McGloin, but you saw the maturity of Derek Carr. You saw the leadership ability of Derek Carr. You saw the accuracy of Derek Carr. He won the spot flat outright. He won the job. We cannot take that away from Carr. And Matt McGloin has had his opportunities. But what Matt McGloin has shown is that he's a capable quarterback. And when he comes in, maybe he presses too hard. But I don't see us rushing Cook and putting Cook into a position where, we want Cook to be that backup guy. I mean, if Carr has to come out of the game, and all reports are showing that Cook is starting to get a little bit better, but we have an opportunity to make a good run this year. And I think that we jeopardize and hurt this team if we put Cook number 2 when we have Matt McGloin under contract. This is his last year under contract. So cutting Matt McGloin at this point wouldn't be a wise choice. Now, if some other team comes knocking on our door, kind of like what they did with Bryce Butler, and they offer us something that we can't refuse and offer us what we need for Matt McGloin to move forward, I think it would be essential for the Raiders to look into it, because last year we did run with 2 quarterbacks, and that's the nuts and bolts to this conversation, guys, is that everybody wants to know, should we run with 3 quarterbacks or should we run with 2? Primarily, you run with 3. I mean, for most of my time, Al Davis always ran with 3, and even before, we ran with 3. So just last year we went down to 2. Jack Del Rio and Bill Musgrave just decided to run with Carr and McGloin, and it worked out for us. Knock on wood, it worked out for us. But Carr did get shooken up there in week 1. Matt McGloin came in and led us to a touchdown, but he also threw a lot of picks. So if something would have happened to Matt McGloin, we find ourselves in a very bad position. And here's the main reason why we run 3. We run 3 because we get to keep McGloin on the roster. Okay? So we go Carr, McGloin, Connor Cook, bringing up the tail end, because Cook needs the experience, Cook needs to learn, and he can learn a lot from Carr and McGloin. So you do run with 3 quarterbacks because the whole point is to develop Connor Cook, not to rush Connor Cook, okay? Even if we brought him in to be a backup quarterback, even if we brought him in to excel as a backup quarterback so we could trade him before his rookie contract is up, is irrelevant to me. It's pointless to me, okay? You have to develop this guy. And there's no way he makes it to the practice squad. We'd have to cut him. This is how it works. Those who don't know how it works, okay? You have to cut Connor Cook. He has to clear waivers, which I believe is like a 48-hour waiver wire, maybe 3 days, so it might be more than that. But it might be a 48 to 72 hours you have to wait for them to clear waivers. And then once they clear waivers, then you're allowed to put them on the practice squad. But just because they clear waivers and they're able to make it on the practice squad doesn't mean they're safe. We lost a player in Max Vallis last season due to the same type of scenario where we had to put Max Vallis on the practice squad, and we were able to get him there. And then Rex Ryan from Buffalo came and swooped him right up, so now he's in Buffalo. And this was a great young talent that needed a year. They talked about him coming out a year too early. So now we don't have the pass rushing skill set of a Max Vallis. So same thing would happen with Connor Cook. So even if we were to get Connor Cook onto the practice squad, what's going to happen here, guys, is we'll get him on the practice squad, and then once a team actually finds the right timing to grab him, as long as they put him on their 53-man roster, they're allowed to take him right from our practice squad. Nobody on the practice squad is safe. The only catch for other teams is if they yank him from our practice squad, they have to be on the active roster. So trust me, Connor Cook was that type of talent to where the Raiders invested in Connor Cook for the future, not necessarily for taking Derek Carr's spot, but to have a really solid backup quarterback, to have him on the roster as trade bait. They will, mark my words, Reggie has an opportunity to get another quarterback next year. He probably will. 2 years down the road, for sure. And it's really going to develop on Connor Cook. So if Connor Cook comes in, he shows great progress through this training camp and through the preseason, and he starts making a name for himself. They're not going to trade Connor Cook now. They're going to continue to develop him so they can get more for him later. We've seen Green Bay do it with Matt Flynn. We've seen the Patriots do it with, I believe it was Matt Castle. So there's a lot of these guys that are able to make an opportunity into something for their future. Look what Osweiler did. Osweiler came in for Peyton Manning. he played mediocre. I mean, he had a quick start because no one knew how he was going to play. He started winning some games. Then he fell off, but nobody cared. The Texans paid top dollar to grab this guy, like way over top dollar to grab this guy. So that's the kind of scenario we're looking for Connor Cook. Now, unfortunately for the Broncos, they got nothing for Osweiler. So we want to be in a situation where we get something out of it. But Matt McGloin's contract's up at the end of the season. We cannot jeopardize, wasting a 4th-round pick on a guy we're going to cut and not develop. And not, the whole point is to develop a young quarterback. So I mean, that's the way it needs to be looked at. So to answer everybody's question of, do we keep 3 quarterbacks this season? Yeah, I think we have to. And I think the only thing that jeopardizes that would be if somebody wants McGloin, not Connor Cook. So, but I do believe that Reggie should be smart about it. If teams come knocking on the door for Matt McGloin, what should the price value be? See, a lot of us, he was an undrafted guy. So it's not as if we could get top rank for him. We're not going to get a top 3-round pick for this guy. We're not even going to get a 4th for this guy unless the team is really desperate. We're looking at probably a 6th-round pick or a 7th-round pick at best. So I don't essentially think it's worth it at this point to trade McGloin for a 6th or 7th-round pick. Reggie's done an excellent job of finding talent in those rounds. So if they decided to do it, I guess I'd be okay with it. But if it was up to me, and the run that we're being able to go on this season after such a long drought of not being able to go on a run like this, I think it's essential that we keep a guy like Matt McGloin on the roster just for that reason, solely just for that reason, for the ability to have a guy that's experienced in the NFL, a second year inside Musgrave's system. We don't lose a beat. I think we make a big mistake by letting Matt McGloin walk. I really do. Now, as far as next year goes, I'm okay with it. Let Matt McGloin walk because, we save money. Connor Cook is going to come at a cheaper price. He would have a year in the system, a year in the NFL. So when he comes back, and as long as the offense, clicks and runs the way that we expect it to this season, Bill Musgrave should be back. As long as everything works out. I mean, we haven't took a snap yet. This is all premature. But I do believe that Bill Musgrave would be fine. And so that puts us in a situation where Connor Cook will be ready next year to be a number 2. There's no reason to put him in that situation now for a 6th or 7th round pick. If we go on a big run, the team's gelling well, the defense should be off the hook, in my opinion. The offense was already gelling and clicking last year. Now that they're more confident, more grounded, more chemistry, more consistency and continuity, let's run this thing. And Matt McGloin gives us the best chance, if anything happens to Carr, to continue that push, to continue that movement forward. And let's face it, at this point, it's not going to matter how well if Matt McGloin gets an opportunity and Matt McGloin comes in and really starts lighting it up, at that point, he would have to totally outshadow Derek Carr, which I don't see that happening. But if he played well enough, we're already too late in the game. His contract ends at the end of the season, so we'd either have to trade him mid-season or let him walk. So I guess the bottom line, I know it's just been kind of an on and on conversation at this point, but the bottom line for me is simple, guys. Derek Carr, number 1. Matt McGloin, number 2. Connor Cook, number 3. It gives Connor Cook the perfect opportunity to learn under this system, under 2 really solid quarterbacks, and he will be primed and ready to be number 2 next year behind Connor Cook. And then we just look for another guy that we either bring in an arm. Maybe we run just 2 quarterbacks next year because we're more comfortable with Connor Cook being the backup quarterback. And then from that standpoint on, we just move forward. So I hope I was able to get that in a way to where I'm understood. Because like I said, the biggest question was, should we run 2 or should we run 3? At this point, I honestly believe that we should run 3. We should definitely run 3 quarterbacks, develop Connor Cook, and it gives us the best optimum chance to make that playoff run we all are so desperate for. And we all believe that we can, but we have to take in consideration injuries, and we don't want to put ourselves in a situation where we're looking from the outside in because we let Matt McGloin go. And I think that we did a great job investing in the Connor Cook, and I don't want that investment to go to waste. So either we got Connor Cook for the next 3 or 4 seasons as a backup quarterback, I think it's 4 to be exact. Okay, so the next 4 seasons we get Connor Cook as our backup quarterback, and we got a solid number 2. Or we got we can get maybe the 4th round pick back, or maybe even turn it into a 2 or a 3. Moving forward, I think that it would be wise to keep 3. So that's my thoughts. Anyway, guys, I really thank you guys for tuning in today to the W2W review. Before we go, don't forget to go check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at The Will to Win. As well as, subscribe to this channel, guys. I mean, we're trying to do some big things. We're going to be doing some post-game live shows, so where we have live phone calls. You guys could either vent or cheer with us as we start winning these football games. And we're going to be kicking that off this Friday right after the Arizona game. So make sure you stay tuned. All right, guys, until tomorrow, I am the Oakland Knight, and you guys stay Raider strong. Hey there, I'm Jason Smith, also known as the Oakland Knight. We'd like to thank you for watching the Will to Win broadcast here on YouTube. And if you would like to stay up to date for more content like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. Or you could click any one of the videos on the side to watch more great videos. Thank you once again, and stay Raider strong.